everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Cut the Cake. We are your real talk podcast on all things wedding planning in Australia for our engaged couple and industry friends. My name is Melanie. I'm the owner of Melly Rain Creative, and as always, I am joined by Tanya.
Hello, how are you today?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm wonderful and really excited to get into today's topic because we kind of like talking about this.
Well,
It's been a while since we've spoken about it.
it has a hit up, and it's a bit of a big one. There's a bit to it, but we're going to try and keep it.
We're going to try and keep it succinct, but we're probably going to draw a little bit on our event management background. So this one, and I feel like this is where we do like to spend some time talking about this type of thing. So yeah.
So we're going to actually talk about private property weddings.
Yes.
And the truth that nobody actually tells you.
No, because as easy as you think it might be,
Yep.
there's a bit of a fallacy at the end of the day sometimes.
So full disclosure, I have had couples hire me to help with their property wedding, and we start planning it, and they go, actually, this is too hard basket. Yeah, we need to pivot. So there is a lot of things to be aware of, costs to be aware of. And I guess we just want to go through when it makes sense to have a property wedding, because it's not for everyone.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So you tell me,
Tanya,
what do you? Yeah, why do people want to do it?
I think probably the biggest one is it's the sentimentality of what a property can actually mean to somebody. So I think we probably see people leaning towards property wedding more where it is a homestead that has been in the family for several generations, you know, bride or the groom or the couples themselves, that someone has a sentimental attachment to it. They're growing up there, they've spent summers there, whatever that is. So that is very much, you know, one of the key reasons they want to continue that tradition on. There is also probably, particularly speaking as a creative, there is a little bit more creative freedom that you can have because you almost do have a blank canvas. A lot of private property weddings, which we'll speak to, involve setting up a marquee, which ultimately from the very beginning screams blank canvas. What can you do? People, I feel, think that it's probably going to be too bad.
Yeah,
to do.
that is the biggest misconception.
And I think that's probably one of the things that we are going to tackle because it is not always that way. Probably actually 90% of the time it's not that way. But yeah, like for me, definitely, like the sentimentality side of it has to be there. Total of it, anything.
Yeah, and I think that's the big draw card with a lot of couples, particularly those who have farming or something like that. They go, it'll be easy, it's going to be cheap. They don't think about the logistics of everything that needs to come together, which again is exactly what we're going to go through. Yeah, we want to like sort of go through all those things you don't realize that you need to consider when you are thinking about having a property wedding. And hopefully, if you are thinking about having a property wedding, you've either thought about all these things or we're coming in hot right now with the information that you need to.
Never going to start making a checklist.
Well, they're either going to go through this and go, yeah, we're fine. Like we're in a good spot. We've thought about everything. We still want to press on and have a property wedding.
Yep.
Or what we'll turn around and go, actually, thank God for Cut the Cake because
we're going to go and look at the nearest menu.
Exactly. All right. So we're going to go through, I guess, the logistics of, yes, things you should probably think through if you are having a property wedding.
Yep.
The first thing I want to touch on is site prep, 100%, because that is absolutely the first thing that I'm talking through with couples. If someone's booking me for property wedding planning, I want at least 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 2 years is a sweet spot. Like 12 months is borderline, yep, not okay. 2 years is good because there is so much prep to consider leading up to the day that, like, let's be honest, most private properties or farms or whatever, they're not ready for an event.
They're designed to be working.
Exactly. It makes space. You need to think through parking, the marquee area. Is it flat? Is other places accessible? Is it shaded? Is there, like, there's just so many logistical things. Is there power? There's just so many things to
What happens when it rains?
What happens when it rains? There's so many things.
If the creek floods and it rains, that's not great.
Like I have a property wedding next October and I came here from the get-go and the site that they wanted to do it, like we were assessing it going, I'm asking them, when it rains here,
where is the water pooling? Like, how's the drainage down here? And you're like, we didn't even think about that. I'm like, I know, that's why you need me. So there are so many things to think through before. It's not as easy going, I really like that paddock. I want to set it all up there. Is it flat? Is it like, it's all those things. Yeah. So there's a lot of, and who's going to do that prep? Like, does that fall on like, it could be your parents, it could be, someone that you borrow the property from, whoever. Yeah. Who's going to be doing that prep? Because you basically need to go through a plan to do all this. So for me, 2 years is a good amount of time because it's not rushed. If you want to grow grass, I literally had a property wedding. It was in a paddock. And for like 12 months, the dad was growing grass. So you look like from space, it looked so bloody funny. So there was a paddock and it was basically wheat all around it.
Yeah.
And they cut it all down and everything. But in the middle was this big green patch. And that's where the marquee went. I bless. So there's just things you need to do again, Fryer.
And grass does not grow overnight. No, if I know, we like to think it does.
Exactly. The next thing I wanted to touch on is power, which I feel is a big one that we all seem to forget. Well, people think about it, but the reasoning that they have, or the solution, I should say, that they have is, oh, well, the house is right there. We'll just plug into the power. Well, there's a shed there. They've got a couple of power points. We'll just plug into that, which is fine. But our background in major sports, like, we're basically always thinking worst case scenario. And for me, that's not enough. Like, we need at least 1, maybe 2 backup generators. And I think also, to a degree, it's depending on who you're getting in, whether or not it be caterers, refrigerators, all of that. Most of them also operate on a different power system. Because they're operating on 3-phase power, which is more than what a normal house is. So if you aren't prepared for that, all it takes is one refrigeration unit and it's going to blow out your entire power in the entire house, and then you have nothing. You have nothing. You have no music. You have no lights. Toilets aren't working. Like, you have nothing. Yep. So you need to be prepared for that. Yeah. In some way, shape, or form. But yeah, it's a big one. It is a very big one. Oh, the next one I love, because everyone forgets this one. You can talk about this. Horrible bathrooms. Because as what do they do, Sonia? They just go inside the house. And that, again, it's a really easy thing to think, oh, yeah, okay, everyone can just go to the 3 toilets that are in the house, or the 2 toilets. Like, if you've just got a normal homestead 3-bedroom house, you've got maybe 2 toilets and a bathroom that people can use. When you're actually in an event situation and you've got 100 people who have had something to eat, had something to drink, that queue is going to go straight out your door and everyone's going to be waiting 20 to 30 minutes to go to the bathroom. Though portable toilets are a big one, which people just forget. Like, it's almost like you've got to come at this from a festival. Yeah. Like, if you were organizing a festival, what are the first things you'd think of? If you've been to a festival, what have you actually seen there? Because you almost need to replicate that. I mean, yeah, with private property wedding.
Yeah, look, I'll say it now. Don't get the disgusting, cheap portaloos. No, there are so many nice looking portable luxe portaloos out there.
Yeah.
That your guests will so much appreciate.
Yeah, so much more. It's your wedding. But the other thing too is, like, if you are using your example from earlier, if you are having your marquee down in the back wheat field and the house is 200 meters away, nobody's going to be wanting to, and that's not fair on your guests either. At the end of the day, is asking them to trek up to a house 200 meters away. They're going to miss the festivity. And you got the grannies, 100%.
Yeah, and you can get the accessible portaloos as well. Sorry, there are options for people who do need accessibility toilets as well.
Which is another thing people. Ability. Okay, next one. It's a big one. It is a big one. A big structure. Marquees, shelter. Yes, in general. Yes. So if you are wanting to do outdoor dining, fantastic. That's plan A. You need a backup, a plan B. And we're not just talking about wet weather. I'm talking about heat. Like, just anything. Wind. You need to have a marquee on standby. Honestly, it's like a non-negotiable for me. No ifs, buts, or maybes. You just need to have one, even if it's on standby. Just have one ready to go. The thing with marquees is chat to either your planner or the marquee company, like, where that is going. I find it so helpful for the marquee company to come out to the property, particularly if they've never had a marquee in this particular spot. So unless you're going to a venue that has like a homestead or something like that, that has a space made for marquees, your marquee is probably not going to work in the paddock. You need to level it out. You need to know how much space you need for it. There are so many things to consider with that. So get your marquee company to come out and say,
is this an okay spot for it? Or what do we need to do to get it better for this?
And that might also include, to a degree, putting down a temporary flooring within time.
Totally is. We need to level it out.
Exactly. Like, don't just rely on the fact that, oh, you will just put everything on the grass. Doesn't always work like that, particularly if you're in an uneven field.
Total.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all right, the next one, which I also feel is something that people don't really think of, because it's very easy just to kind of walk into an established venue and you go, oh, okay, is everything that you get baked? Particularly with a private property wedding, you're talking about bringing in everything down to the table, chairs, and all of the equipment like napkin, cutlery, all that type of thing. Everything. Yep.
Even water.
Even water. 100%. Like, you need to think all of these things.
Yeah. My tip for that actually is there are a lot of marquee companies, and not a lot, but there are marquee companies out there that provide like all-inclusive packages.
Yeah.
So it's like marquee and the dining chairs and the dining tables and the cocktail furniture. Most marquee companies will also provide some form of crockery, cutlery, glassware. So you can get packages to include everything. The thing to keep in mind with that, which a lot of people forget about, and this is just another factor to consider when you are having a property wedding, is that particularly with glassware, crockery and stuff like that, if you're hiring it, usually those companies are expecting you to come back clean. And I'm not saying like, dishwasher clean, but at least rinsed.
Yep.
So they're not having food and leftover liquid and stuff.
Which, it's a bit unfair to ask them to actually just do all the cleaning part.
But that's part of the agreement, and it needs to return basically how you received it. So there is that level of having to do work after the wedding as well, which a lot of people don't think about. No, it's not to mention all the lead up as well.
100%. And most of them will also come with higher deposits as well.
Yeah.
And it will be probably a pause of your higher deposit that you don't receive it back unless things are returned the way that they are provided, which I always thought my calls up. But there you go. Yeah. Lighting, because obviously under the moonlight is wonderful, but you still need some lights once it gets dark.
Totally. And like most marquee companies, like the marquee structure will come with lighting in the marquee. But you need to think about lighting, and we're big on this, like with our background, the whole guest experience.
Yes.
So from the point that they are arriving, like wherever they're parking their car,
Need to have lighting.
well, because people would think about when they arrive, it's daytime when they arrive, but you've got to think when they're leaving, like how are they getting back to their car safely? Yeah. Talking about leveling out, ground as well as lighting so they can actually find their car. Outside, where are your toilets? How far away are that? Do we need lighting to like help them find the toilets? Outside over the dance floor, like do you want to be dancing in pitch blackness or do you want some light out there?
100%.
So lighting is a big one, and it's one that I find that a lot of people just forget about, which that's fine, but that's why we're doing
No,
it.
exactly. But I think you've also just really quickly just touched on something there as well, which you are big on with private parking.
Yeah.
Like, where is everyone going to park?
Yep.
How is everyone getting there?
Buses. Yep. This is not my topic, but it's a good one to talk about. Buses, a lot of people hire buses for their guests because they make it easier and convenient. But can that bus actually get down that dirt road
100%.
where you're having your wedding?
Yep.
And not only can they get down there, can they turn around?
It's really funny because as you've been talking, the thing that comes to mind, and whether or not this is showing my age, it's the movie from the 90s, Father of Bride.
Oh, I love that movie.
Exactly. And obviously this is, you totally appreciate this. It's the very first one is obviously it's all about his daughter getting married in the home. Now obviously it's a suburban home, it's very, very different. But the thing is that it's Kieran Culkin's the actor as a kid, and he's sitting there being the valet, which is like not legit.
Atrocious.
And the parking is atrocious that it's on a side street and he's driving all over the race bushes. But it's all those little things of, if you want to go and watch a movie that's about a private property, and yes, it's obviously at the movie and it's a fictitious story, but it is going through the process as them actually the things that they have to do to get ready for the big day. And it's just him driving over the rose bushes. It just stuck in my mind.
It's a great movie. All right. The last thing, which I think a lot of people forget about, is waste.
Yeah.
So your wheelie bins,
You got to say that.
you have for your weekly rubbish removal from your house is not enough for a wedding of even 80 people kind of thing. So you need to get some form of skip.
Yeah.
And I know they're not the nicest looking thing, but put the skip close enough that, your caterers can get access to it for, food and stuff like that. But have one because, oh God, you will have so much waste. And it's always forgotten. or it's always something that obviously I don't forget, but it's always something that is not thought about until I bring it up.
No, exactly. All right. So key things are book coverage. Do we want to look at the reality of how much this is going to cost?
Yeah. Because I feel like we've been poo-pooing property weddings a little bit.
We're not. We love them. Like we do.
We do love them. But I guess the thing to keep in mind is that like when you're comparing costs, like say you reach out to venues and you're looking at the venue hire, you're looking, anywhere between like 10 and 25, 30K, something like that for that venue hire. You got to keep in mind that that's the hire fee. You're paying for tables, chairs, staff, power, playroom, waste removal, like basically everything that we've just gone through. You're paying for all of that
In one small fee, and you don't have to worry about any of it.
exactly. Whereas for a private property, you might be paying zero hire fee, but you're going to be spending about the same amount of money on infrastructure and all those things that we just went through to actually bring it together. So I think the reality is that private properties are not cheaper. They're just different.
Yes.
So if you are someone who's in a position where you've got access to a property and that's something that you really want to do for your wedding day, just be mindful that it's not going to be cheaper. It's probably going to cost you the same, if not a little bit more than a venue. And there's a lot more planning that you need to put into place to bring it all together. But if that's what you want,
yeah,
go for your life.
100%. It is, as you said, it's just being mindful of the fact that a private property wedding did not keep essentially equal free.
Yeah.
Because your costs are going to be shifted into other areas.
Yeah, so true. So I think we should maybe key takeaways.
Yes, key takeaways when they work for that one.
Well, they work kind of like what we've gone through. Like when it's sentimental,
yep,
you're prepared to put in the work to put everything together. The property can actually handle it.
Yep.
If the property is not suitable for it. And if you've got a good time frame,
yep,
to plan it. So like I said, anywhere between like 18 to 24 months is a good amount of time.
Perfect.
When they don't work is probably realistically if your budget is anything less than 50K.
Yep.
Because you're probably going to spend half of that on putting everything together for your wedding.
Yep.
If you want to simply plan your wedding, like if you want to have a simple process in planning your wedding, it's probably not the best thing. No. And you can have a shorter time frame. Yeah. Anything less than 12 months, I would be saying that is way too short to plan and prep and enjoy that process. You're going to be so stressed.
I think probably the reality with this is if you say like a traditional wedding in a traditional venue, etc., you might have 10 to 12 moving parts between the different venues that you're associating with.
Yep.
Because obviously the venue itself takes over a large portion of the hire, the wake management, all those things we mentioned. With this, you're moving parts that you have to kind of start trying to negotiate here, particularly when it comes to bumping in and bumping out of all the vendors. You're probably looking like many.
Yep.
Because they're all going to be individual company.
Total.
So you have to be mindful that your workload in delivering that particular event as well is going to be substantially more.
Yeah.
Than what it would be in a traditional venue.
Yeah, totally. So I think in summary, like if you are exploring a property wedding for your wedding day,
yep,
there is so much benefit to it. Like that creative freedom really does outweigh a lot of things that can be restrictive with venues. But I think you just need to be aware of the amount of logistics that come into it, the costs that you need to consider, just not be naive going into it thinking that it's going to be really cheap when potentially it's not going to be. And I think it's okay to explore it.
Yeah.
And if the answers are no, then that's okay. Like if it turns out that it's not the right choice for you, stands fine. It's so totally fine. The whole point that us going through this is to be really upfront with what you need to consider.
Yep.
I hope this has helped.
Exactly. And then you can make those decisions in advance and not get halfway through the process, have a shorter time frame, and then have to change everything.
Totally. Because that's a stress in itself.
It is. So there you go. That is pretty much private properties 101 to a degree.
High level.
High level indeed. And like as we said, we're not poo-pooing them. We do a lot of private property wedding. It's just going in with everything and being aware of everything that's going to come out in more than anything.
Yep. And if you should say this from the get-go, if you are planning a private property, then contact me.
Exactly. As long as it's an absolute license property. Exactly. Mother's an expert in private property.
Yeah. So I can help you plan one heck of a private property wedding without any of this stress.
Exactly. Well, we will wrap it up there for this episode. So thank you very much for tuning in and listening to us. So as always, if you want to reach out, if you want to talk to either of us, you can find us on Instagram. at Cut the Cake Podcast. You can find Mel at Millie Ring Creative and myself at the Event Wanderer Co. And yeah, but feel free to drop us a line or send us any questions you have because we love answering them. So until next time, we'll see you then. Bye.